Greetings, free thinkers. Welcome to the Hoggcast. How are you doing today? I hope you're doing fine. I certainly am. Okay, what do we have for you on today's episode? We have for you the results of the Virginia gubernatorial election there, and I mean, I suppose you could say against all odds, Youngkin, the Republican candidate, has won. I suppose that's a point of view, because you could say that he had a very good chance from the outset based on his actual policies, which I agree with. However, you have to remember we are in the age of electoral fortification. Okay, we know that in the early hours of the morning, Youngkin lead was over 200,000, but then mysteriously went down to 90,000 after one of these caseload of votes suddenly appeared out of nowhere. You know the routine, okay? So there's a celebration now for the Republicans. As there should be. And it looks like the guy in New Jersey might win. I don't know. As far as I'm aware, at the time of making this video, the results haven't came out. But I'm guessing they won't allow that to happen. I believe there might be some fortifying going on. I wanted to show you this clip. Not the whole clip. It is quite long. But it's just this particular segment. I want to give my opinions on it. It's this woman here. She has... I can't remember her name. She has done so much for helping Youngkin get elected. Really, I think she has. That's just my opinion, but I think she has. I think she's a very good woman. She's a woman of, not that it matters, you know, but she is of Middle Eastern descent. So that helps combat the leftist narrative, because you saw what they did, the disgraced Lincoln Project. You saw what they did outside Youngkin's bus. They tried to do a... there's a proper term for it. I don't think it's psyop. There's another term for it. But it was a propaganda attempt, basically, and it didn't work. But this is what the left is. This is what the left do, right? But this woman, in my opinion, has done more to help Youngkin than probably anyone, right? Other than the left themselves. See, this is the thing. The left help their political enemies because they are so detached from reality. As soon as they open their mouth, people think, whoa, I'm not going to vote for that. So they have to fortify. Yeah? They fortify it. So let's see what she's got to say. I should imagine she's very proud of herself. This is probably one of the most important moments in her life, and so it should be. You know, that book that she showed to everyone called Woke Baby just goes to show you that when these people say that they're coming for your kids, they actually mean it. I always say this, when the left tell you what they want to do, when certain three-letter organisations that congregate in Minneapolis tell you what they want to do to you, or what they think of you, believe them. They're telling you, right? They used to hide it. They're not no more, because they're in power. Anyway, look, let's see what she's got to say. If you haven't yet, though, please like the video. If you find it informative, subscribe to the Hoggcast, hit the notification bell, and share this video around. We have a membership scheme now. We have 8 amazing members who humble me that they value my commentary as much as they do to become paying members and to support the Hoggcast and allow us to continue making these videos. There's a link in the description and a join button next to the subscribe button. Anyway, let's go.
Oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. You don't even know how electric it is right now in this room. What the parents of Virginia have done is sent a clear message to every single person who has treated us like dirt. They are all here, all of the moms and dads. We are mama bears and papa bears, and we have said loud and clear, get your hands off of our cubs.
And that's it, isn't it? At the end of the day, the culture war has come from your town centres, from abroad even, from some faraway place, yeah? And slowly but surely the woke brigade and the left, the Democrats, here in Britain, the Labour Party, slowly but surely the culture war has creeped through your door and into your house. And now it's come to claim your children. And people have had enough. It's like this relentless push for what they call progress. How is publishing a book called Woke Baby progress? Trying to make a baby be woke. They don't even understand the concept. And they won't do until at least they're in their early 20s. When they're a teenager, you can tell them what woke means, but they won't really know until they're old enough to get what the world's about. Woke baby. Yeah? They're coming for your families. For your cubs, as she calls them. And she and a lot of the parents, as she said, have had about enough.
We're going to lose more races if you continue to treat us like dirt. And we have risen. We are loud and we are strong. And we are saying very clearly, see this? We are not going to allow you to claim our babies. None of this nonsense is going to be acceptable anymore.
Yes, that's it. Thank you. And you know, the propaganda arm of the Democrat Party, that's the MSNBC and the CNNs of the world, the most trusted news, the most trusted name in fake news, I'm sure you're aware who they are. They will immediately start to try to make you feel guilty about voting for Youngkin. They will immediately set about trying to make the mums and the papa bears feel guilty for protecting their own children, right? That's what they do. They will shame you into not moving. So you'll just sit still with your mouth closed and allow them to run rampant over you. Yeah, that tactic has been very, very successful for the left. That's why it's allowed these people who are ideologically in the minority go out there into any Western country and you'll find the majority of people actually have decent traditional conservative ideas, and the woke lunatics are in the minority. But it's their rampant and aggressive tactics that have allowed them to, and the fact that they play dirty, they have no qualms about getting in the mud and rolling around. The left are unapologetically hypocritical. They are unashamedly hypocritical. They wear their double standards on their arm like a badge of honour. They don't care because their hypocrisy, lying, double standards and cheating allows them to eventually claim the win over you. And people are waking up to that and have said, look, enough. You know, people before have said, I've got a job, I can't really risk my job. But now the culture war has come into your house and it wants your cubs, as this delightful woman said. People have finally said, well, enough's enough. A job's a job. But what about my kids?
Ian, your message was to the school board, our kids don't belong to you. They're our children. You're there to carry out basically our will, fairly teach education in a fair manner, in a useful manner. But the Democrats have completely missed this message all along. And last night, Democrat Virginia Senator Tim...
Sorry, I can just... I hope this video doesn't get copyright claimed because of the music in the background there. I can't mute it because you wouldn't be able to hear it. But it just made me smile because they're playing one of the songs that used to play at the Trump rallies, and I used to love the Trump rallies. I used to like watching the songs in the beginning with everyone like kind of bopping around and in the crowd, you know, the people attending, and it was really brilliant. Community led. I wish I could be there. Man, do I wish I could have been there in Trump's heyday, during his presidency when he did the Trump rallies, man. I wish I could have been to one of them.
Kane was still dismissing this.
Glenn Youngkin is trying to kind of create and then inflate a culture of grievance against schools and school teachers that doesn't really match up with the lived reality of people in most Virginia cities and counties.
Well, what do you know about the lived reality of the citizens? You, by your own admission, by your own words, people condemn you for what you are, which is an unearthly, out-of-touch fool. You bring... It's like I said about being unashamedly hypocritical. You know, they wear it like a badge. He will immediately project what he and his party and his campaign were trying to do on to Youngkin. It's the same with the utterly disgraced Lincoln Project and that stunt they pulled, trying to make a piece of propaganda to make it look as if you've seen it. You don't need me to tell you about it. You know what they did outside his bus. So he doesn't get it. He doesn't get it.
And the lived reality, what does Tim Kaine know about the lived reality?
That's what I mean.
Well, he's living in a different reality than the rest of us.
Yes.
You look at the parents across Virginia, and this is really about them. I mean, they have done amazing work. And of course, that goes for all the moms and dads in Virginia. But I got to give a shout out to the moms and dads in Loudoun County. When we started this fight.
Yeah, that was ground zero. That's where it began. The way that those Democrat leftists on those school boards treated the parents like they were just machines that existed to produce the next batch of future activists, and then as soon as they'd done that, they could just go away. This is the difference, inherent difference, and these differences between right and left, conservative and liberal, Republican, Democrat, these divides are getting bigger because of the left's innate tendency to double down, triple down, quadruple down, and just keep getting distilled down until they're just an atom. Right? The left believe that your cubs, your offspring, belong to the state. Conservatives believe that your offspring belong to you. That's the difference. So these two groups will never reconcile on that. And usually with these leftists, they'll be like 19, 21 years old, gender studies degree, overweight, blue hair, no kids of their own and probably never will have any. And they're trying to tell you what you need to do with your kids.
Back in April, March, really with this school board, I said we could do this all day, every day. We could shine the spotlight of accountability on this school board. And they went out there and they worked all day, every day. They put on a suit of armor. They took the slings and arrows from intolerant neighbors, from the media, from school board members, from the Department of Justice.
That's what I mean. That cabal of Democrat leftism come down on these parents like a ton of bricks. And it's been very successful, as I said in a previous segment a minute ago, about 5 minutes ago, I think I said it. They will use any tactic whatsoever to make you feel guilty. That's it. They want to shame you for standing up for your offspring, for your cubs, your babies, yeah? They want to shame you for it, and it's it's been a very effective tactic for them. But people have had enough, because, as I've said, the culture war now has come into the house. It's in your living room, dictating terms to you. And the parents have had about enough. Really. Everyone reaches a breaking point. And there's no point trying to discuss with the left. Of course you should have open dialogue, but we've been trying that for years. They don't get it. They don't want to get it. They don't want to listen to you. They don't think you have a right, as they've said, to try to decide what your children should be taught. They wouldn't lie to your face.
And we are still here, and we're just getting started.
Yeah, we haven't even talked about Merrick Garland and the absolute defamation that's being launched against you, Ian, and Asra, and all the parents who've been involved almost on a daily basis. You're hearing it tonight on other networks, that this is more another example of the racism, systemic racism in our society.
Yeah, and that woman, who's one of the main ones there, she's of Middle Eastern descent. But like Candace Owens, because they think freely and have their own opinions, and they're not a slave to the Democrat plantation, they're described as supremacists, even though they're not white. But again, good luck telling the left that. They'll just have that glazed over, gormless expression on their face. They won't get it. They don't understand. These are the people who think orcs are black people. Yeah? So, as seriously, they wanted the I'm going to go off. I won't go off on a tangent, but I'll just quickly say it. The left were angry that Dungeons and Dragons had orcs that had negative racial bonuses, attributes. All of them have positive attributes and negative attributes. The left seized on the orcs, not any other race. All the other races have positive and negative attributes in Dungeons and Dragons, but they seized on the orcs because in their mind they associated it with African Americans. It wasn't conservatives who thought that, but again, I'm going off on a tangent. As she was saying, that these people are going to try, the mainstream media especially, are going to try to destroy these parents now. The Twitterati, they'll go after them. They will try their hardest to destroy them like they did with the Trump family. So you're going to need to back these guys up because the left won't stop. The one thing they want is power. And you've just took that away from them. Do you think they're going to stop now? Right? They'll continue.
Virginia's going backward. Asra, I love how you go to all of your appearances with evidence. Like, you don't just talk about the issues, Asra. You have evidence in your hands. This is what's being taught, and you read from the books because most parents are so busy, they're not even reading the books. Well, they are now. And I've got to give you huge props for what you've done, and you've put your neck out on the line, and you have been unstoppable in this fight.
We've all got to give her huge props. She did an amazing job at highlighting the things that are going on. She should run for school board. She would get elected. She should run for office. If I was in her constituency, I would vote for her. Because she has it. It's not about immutable characteristics, unlike the left will want you to believe. She is a good person, and you can see it. You can see it, right? And I think that struck a chord with all of the locals who were watching her, who were watching when she appeared on segments and that. You can see that she's a good, decent, honest person. Whereas McAuliffe, you can just, straight away you can see, every time he opens his mouth, it's scripted, divisive nonsense. And it's like light and day.
We are so fierce, and I'll tell you, every single person behind me, they're the moms and the dads. They have been in the trenches. I can't even tell you. People are sort of like in between tears and just joy because we have been suffering for so long. In Fairfax County, it's 12 Democrats that are on our school board. They have ignored us. They treated us like dirt. And Laura, you know this. I am a liberal Democrat feminist. And I will say now, for the first time ever, that I voted for Glenn Youngkin today. For God.
What can you say to that? She is a feminist. Hey, I think she's made a bit of a mistake saying that. I don't think she should have. I'm not saying she should hide who and what she is. It doesn't change my opinion of her, but it's like a red flag, isn't it? Because everything's been weaponized and politicized. Technically, what is a feminist? It's someone who supports female rights. I suppose we could all be classed as feminist, but because feminism, or especially third wave feminism, has been weaponized, it leaves you feeling like, well, you know, what's going on here? It angers me when people feel they need to flaunt kind of even partial leftist credentials, right? As if it's a good thing, when it's, in my opinion, not. Okay, once something has been achieved, just stop. Because if you don't, you then go down the road of absurdity, which is why we see feminists of today, because they have all the rights in the world, they go around wearing hats in the shape of a woman's reproductive organ. What is that achieving when you have 10 purple-haired leftists walking around with a vagina on their head? What are you achieving?
Governor of Virginia, and I am going to be so proud to have him as our governor because he did something remarkable that Terry McAuliffe forgot. He remembered that he was a dad, he is a father, and he is a parent, and this is our sacred duty. And all these amazing people behind me, they have sent me here with a clear message to the nation. Fight, parents, mama bears and papa bears, protect your cubs. And all of you politicians and activists and educrats who want to get in our way, get out of the way.
And you can just see she's right in everything she says. You can just see the difference in the people. Can't you? They're all of these likely have university degrees. They're metropolitan elites. They look down their nose at people, and then look at all these happy people. They even looks brighter, doesn't it? It looks more alive. But I think she should run for politics. I think she should run as a Republican. I think she should tone down the whole feminist thing. People don't need to hear that. If it's been weaponized, leave it alone. I think she could be a very strong Republican candidate wherever she stood. Obviously not. It wouldn't be right to take on Youngkin now in Virginia, but there's plenty of other. There's local politics she can get into. School board, as I said. If you replace the school board with just that woman and let her decide, you would see a revolution in Virginian education. You would see a revolution. Because the authority would be centralised and one good person can make the rules. But look, I'm going to leave it there. I wanted to show you what she had to say in her interviews because I always remembered her. I remembered her from months ago when the whole Loudoun County situation erupted and then into wider Virginia, and it just became like a mass. It was an ideological war. That's what it came down to, really. And the Republicans won. Despite all the fortifying attempts, all the propaganda attempts, all the psyops, and that ridiculous stunt by the Lincoln Project. I wonder how they feel now. Fools. Fools. Chris Cuomo even had them on CNN trying to run cover for them. That should show you what that idiot's made of. Anyway, look, I'll leave it there. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments section below. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.